some case discussions that I've given you there, basically to drive in the sort of concept if you need it for further evidence to substantiate what I'm saying there. And then now we move on to look at an intermediate term. An intermediate term is less than an essential term but more than a warranty. So it's like a term in the middle. It's less than an essential term but more than a warranty. Right to terminate depend on foreseeable consequences of breach. Can terminate if it deprives the insurance party of a substantial part of the benefit to which it contracted for. So if it's an intermediate term and it has been breached, you can terminate if it deprives the insurance party of a substantial part of the benefit for which it has contracted for. So for instance, like when I sold my car, the buying the car really needed the car on a particular day. So I told him, we're going on Monday 12 o'clock, we are going to exchange the car and the money. All right, then he is a hire car business. He said by 1 o'clock he will sort of buy the car, take possession from me, and then put it out on a very lucrative item. So someone's going to buy it for like 6 months, 3 months. So when it comes to 12 p.m. and he wants to get the car at 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. delivery to his customer. So when we go there at 1 p.m. and then I said, 12 p.m. and I said, sorry, the car won't be ready until 6 p.m. This means that I'm depriving him of substantial benefit. So this guy that's going to hire his car contracted for 1 p.m. So what he can do is he can terminate the contract right there, because even though it's an intermediate term, this term is sort of it's depriving him of his benefit to get some money from the hire contract. That's what intermediate term on slide 15 means. Alright, termination for repudiation. Amount to a rejection of contract by refusal to perform. When one party manifests an unwillingness or inability to perform. A contract may be repudiated if one party renounces its liabilities under it, even he envisages an intention to no longer be bound by the contract, or shows that he intends to fulfill the contract only in a manner substantially inconsistent with his obligation, not in any other way. Will entitle the innocent party to terminate. Must relate the role of the contract to a condition or be fundamental. Basically, what happens is that when you talk about repudiation, it's where one party sort of shows or manifests the unwillingness to perform the contract. So that's when a contract can be repudiated. It's like when you agree to do something and one party says, nah, I really can't do that, and then they sort of show that they really don't want to do that. The innocent party sort of can terminate the contract, and basically the contract is repudiated. So in terms of repudiation, the party repudiating the contract, that means the party says that, I am unwilling to carry on the contract. He must act in such a way that a reasonable person in other shoes to believe that he does not have a contract or the substantial benefit of the performance. So this guy that's trying to, repudiate the contract, he must show that he has unwillingness to continue the contract, and also he acted in a way that he is not going to fulfill the contract. So repudiation can occur when or after performance is due. Now, before performance is due, that's anticipatory breach, can be expressed or implied from words or conduct. So repudiation can happen after performance is due and before performance is due. So when we repudiate the contract before performance is due, it's called an anticipatory breach and can be expressed or implied from words or conduct. So before my contract, you say, I don't think I'll do that, or I don't want to do that, I don't want to carry on the contract. So this is where it's called an anticipatory breach, because it's before performance of the contract is due. So then you look at the risks involved there. Then I've given you some potential cases on repudiatory conduct, express statement or inability or unwillingness to perform the contract. I've given some cases there. And the third sort of way a contract can be discharged or terminated is basically terminations for delay. Contract may stipulate time. Where time is not stipulated, implied reasonable time. If the time is of essence, i.e. a condition, innocent party may terminate upon breach. When will time be of essence? Common law always. Equity not unless parties intended. So if you make a contract for a time, so you're a big builder, multi-billion dollar construction company, and you tell your supplier, I need to finish this contract by next week on the Friday 406. I want all these materials that I've ordered and paid for to be right there at the building site so that I can finish the contract. So if that party does not deliver on the building site, that is a contract that is terminated for delay. So time is a very important factor in making contracts. In common law, time is always will be of the essence. Equity basically says that time is of the essence, but parties must agree to a certain time for the contracts to be terminated. I've given you some cases there, termination for delay, and some examples where time is not and when you look at termination for delay, when time is not of the essence, may terminate if delay is serious breach of intermediate term or constitutes a repudiation. So if time is not specified, but you continue to chronically delay, that may be a serious breach of an intermediate term, and it might repudiate the contract. Alright, giving notice, you have to give notice that you're trying to terminate the contract. Basically, notice must state the time for performance, the time must be reasonable, and convey the time stipulated for performance of the essence, or the termination will be consequences of a breach of the time stipulation. So when someone is unnecessarily delaying, to give them notice, says, I want this contract to be fulfilled within 7 days. If it's not fulfilled within 7 days, I will claim for a breach of contract, or I will terminate the contract and I will claim damages. So I've given you some cases there as well. Then I'll talk about the nature and effect of termination. So what is the nature and effect of termination? Termination for breach is not automatic. If you look at slide 28, it must elect whether to terminate or not. Once elected, you cannot change it again. So if you say that now I want to terminate the contract, bang, the contract has to be terminated. Terminate, nature and effect of termination. So termination leads to rescission in contractual sense, not tortious sense. So basically, when you talk about termination, it's not, the contract is not terminated right from the beginning, but the contract is terminated at a certain point in time where it was breached. Alright, so basically that's your lecture for termination of contract. Remember, conditions, warranties, and intermediate terms. Conditions, you breach it, the contract is terminated. Warranty, you breach it, the contract does not terminate. An intermediate term, the contract can terminate if a substantial benefit has been ended or has been delayed or blocked. Right, and then the types of ways in which contract can come to an end. Contracts can come to an end by mutual performance, you performing the contract, by consent, that you both agree that you don't want to perform the contract, or by failing to satisfy a essential term of the contract. And also, contracts can come to an end by breach of the contract, repudiation, or delay, and contracts can come to an end by operation of the law. Alright, thank you very much. Now we will go on to look at the other aspect of termination, and that is the termination by performance. For this class, we looked at termination by breach, repudiation, and delay. Now we're going to go and look at termination by performance, and that will conclude the lectures for contract law.